So we are here at the Art Center of the Capital Region, and we're talking with
McGambley.
Okay, and you have some work in here.
I do.
And what is it?
Would you like to see it?
I'd love to see it, sure.
That's this piece right here, my collage.
Ah, it's a three-dimensional collage.
It is.
It's oh my God, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a book that's been hollowed out, and then you filled it with various
They're images. Magazines, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
From advertising, it looks like.
Yeah, mostly advertisements, yeah.
And wow, it's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And it must mean something to you, or what does it mean to you?
It's mostly a nostalgic piece. I'm really inspired by that kind of imagery and a sense of, you know, perfection and happiness and nostalgia, but also questioning that sense of perfection as well.
Yeah, it seems like the stuff from this era, the advertising was really a hard sell on your life could be actually great if you buy something.
It's really fun. I have like an archive of vintage magazines, and reading the advertisements can be really entertaining. Yeah.
And at the time, it didn't seem so campy. It didn't seem so ridiculous and fantasy-laden. But now you look back at it.
Within the context of today's modern world, it's a little bit humorous, I guess, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's more innocent or more simple-minded, maybe? Or
yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. Just kind of thinking about the good old days, I guess you could say. And questioning just how good they really are. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. And so, a generation from now, what do you imagine the person that would be you who's picking out magazines nowadays?
Oh, that's kind of
what would they think?
Almost a scary question because of the kinds of things in the magazines today. I don't know. I think that's the beauty of what I found, kind of, is it's never going to be that way again.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. It's so cemented in that era that it comes from. And is this sea captain a hero of ours?
Yeah, this is a book about the Titanic, and I just, you know, I carve out all the books and I saw his picture and I just thought, well, I can't really get rid of that. I liked him, so, yeah.
Yeah, he was sort of an innocent bystander in the whole thing. You know, was he?
I found the little caption to be pretty like dramatic and interesting.
Oh, what does it say? Read it for us.
It says, "Of the ill-fated giant of the sea, a brave and seasoned commander who was carried to his death with his last and greatest ship."
That's right. He went down with his ship. That's
He
what you're
did.
supposed to do.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
hard to imagine anybody
Yeah.
doing that today.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that idea of like, you know, everyone
Noble, honor, right and wrong,
Yeah.
and being on the right side of right.
Yep.
Cool. This is the kind of thing that we used to do as kids, to have like a secret book that had like a hollow thing in it. You know,
People have said that to
you could
me.
hide your crunch brand in it.
And had some things in there, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us.
Thank
It's
you.
very, very wonderful work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Why are you an artist? What is it about art that speaks to you or makes you want to share it or whatever?
Well, with this work, I've always been drawn to cartoons. So, like, Scooby-Doo is a huge influence to me. Meaning the title Mysteries Incorporated, for one, is like a play off of Scooby-Doo, but also there's, with my work, you might be able to see a little bit of something hiding. Like, you might see Scooby-Doo's nose, who's very recognizable for his collar, his tag.
And cartooning is, there's like a pure emotional response to cartooning. There's not a lot of ambiguity to it. The stories that they tell are straightforward and simple to understand. Everybody can relate to them, and yet they touch deep emotional aspects within everybody. Everybody can relate to it. How long have you been doing this? Have you been drawing ever since you were like tiny?
Oh yeah. I think since I probably was able to hold a crayon, had a coloring book, and when I was little, I never wanted to draw in my coloring books, like color in them, because they would ruin the image. So I would actually trace the image itself and then color that. So then I had the original. So I think that has built.
That's right.
through the
When you
years.
color a coloring book, you're like destroying it because your expertise is no match for the expertise of the cartoonist that
Yes.
drew the original image. Sure.
Yeah, the line
Yeah.
itself. So I was just like, no. So I would like make things different colors, like, because when you're a kid, it's like, so what? Scooby-Doo's green. I want a green.
Right.
But I couldn't do that in like that book. So when I redrew it, I could make it whatever color I wanted. So I think over the years, some of that has played back. So now it's not as difficult for me to make Scooby-Doo's, like we'll say his nose again, like purple if I wanted to. Because it's like, it's still there, but it's not the original sort.
So which one is this? What is it about?
We have no idea right now.
A lot of possibilities.
I know, a lot of insight. You know, I'm trying to read the caption and kind of connect it. This looks to me like this old German cartoon. So I don't know if that's it.
It's kind of enigmatic, but food for thought.
Yeah, I like it.
So why is Scooby-Doo such a iconic touchstone with people?
I don't know. I think for me, it's just something that I've always been interested in. I mean, all cartoons are really fun and animated, but there's just this playfulness with him. Like, maybe it was like one of the first dogs in the cartoons that didn't really talk, but it was like a group. They were getting together, they solved mysteries, but it was more playful. And I think people relate to him because he's been around for like generations. So like dads know them, bring it to their kids, like, oh, well, you should watch this. And it might be the newer movie, but then they start watching the older ones, and they're like, oh, this is what I watched when I was a kid.
And cartoons are always, they end with a happy ending, right?
Yeah.
And it's uplifting the message, whatever it is.
Very much. And I think that just makes working with them happy, because you're like, oh, I remember this. Or you just remember going to see that movie, and it was a nice time.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Yes. So you get to, like, you kind of go back to a time that was happy. That's what I want. Playful and happy.
Well, we got a lemonade stand here. And you have the first dollar that you ever earned.
Yep. Our neighbor came in.
Fantastic. So how much is the lemonade?
50 cents.
Can I get one?
Sure.
Okay.
What do you ask him?
Would you like a straw?
Don't really need a straw, thanks.
Okay.
Here's this.
Here you go.
Okay.
How much change?
Your change is 50 cents back.
Well, great.
What do you say?
Thanks for buying this lemonade.
Okay, thank you for being so entrepreneurial and taking the initiative, setting up the stand. I'm sure you'll go far. Wow! This is a work of engineering genius. Okay, so we are here with
JJ.
JJ.
Yep.
And you're part of Capital City Brew Cycle.
Yes, I am one of the owners, yep.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about this machine. It looks like just a marvel of engineering.
Yeah, what we did is, as a group, we're a team of 4 guys, all from the Capital District, and we saw this in other cities and we wanted to bring it here. So what we did is we designed our own. It's completely customized to our specifications and, you know, everything that we wanted in a bike.
So it's built on some kind of a frame, I guess?
Yeah, so our engineer developed a rolled steel frame for this. You see it in a lot of cars these days because it's stronger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a steel deck. And then from there, we've got a lot of bike components and actually some vehicle components on there as well.
So everyone is spinning their pedals, and it's probably turning a flywheel?
Well, it turns shafts, and the shafts then all come together and turn a drivetrain. So I mean,
okay.
It's very it's simple in concept, but you know, making it come together is another thing. But
right, and so then the driver is just. He's got a powered vehicle that he's bringing the clutch in and out and brakes?
No, it's a single gear. It's a fixed gear system. So, you know, at one point, probably about 8 miles an hour, it just kind of freewheels, and he just steers and brakes.
Ah.
So he's got an easy job, but he gets to entertain all the beautiful women that come out with us, you know?
There is something about it that draws the babes. I noticed
There's
that.
something about it. There's you know, everybody loves it.
Well, it's a healthy way to go drinking.
It is.
It's drinking and
we like to say
exercise
there's
at the
no
same
empty
time.
calories on the brew cycle. Yeah.
So people sign up for it the day before or a week before?
A couple
or
weeks
whatever?
before, you know,
Yeah.
you can, right now we've got bookings into October, you know, people booking birthday parties and bachelorette parties.
Cool.
And it books up organically. You know, a misconception that people have is that you have to book the whole bike. It's not true. If you only have 4 people going out, book the 4 tickets. The rest will just fill up organically. And I found that the mixed groups have a lot more fun anyway.
Right.
You're meeting new people. You
That's
know?
right, yeah. And you've all got this thing in common.
Yeah.
So is there like a minimum crew that takes to move it?
About 8.
Okay.
About 8. Or half full, you know.
So there must have been a lot of trial and error and fine tuning.
We do, but that still goes on, right? So like it's a never-ending process.
Okay.
There's things we try, we try different theme nights, and those nights might not work. But then with this thing, we had a higher gear ratio, and you couldn't even move it. So we're like, okay, that's got to come down.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part, right? I mean, as frustrating as it is, and as
you're doing something brand new. You're doing something creative that everybody is going to admire.
There's pains that come with that, So
sure, yeah.
But at the end, we'll appreciate it more because everything you fought through just to make everything happen. The fact that, oh my God, we rolled,
Yeah, it's just one more thing. Troy is like on the cutting edge of like so much stuff.
It really is. It's a few years away from being like the biggest city up here, right? The biggest little city, you want to say.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like its own little Greenwich Village, but away from home.
What is Troy? Tell us what Troy is, really, truly.
Troy's where the nerds, the ambitious, the hopeful find each other. And they find a place that was kicked around a bit and is coming back to life. And there are people who have lived here their whole lives who pretend they don't like it, they love it. They never leave it. And then you get sucked in. Get sucked in, and here you are.
Because it's got everything, doesn't it? It's got that creativity. It's on the river, so it's always got that river thing going.
Yeah.
And it's always changing. There's always new stuff happening.
They said Troy's where Henry Hudson turned around. That was the end of one journey of Henry Hudson's.
Turned around which way? He was coming up.
He was coming up. He was looking for the Northwest Passage.
And he said,
he came
Troy.
Up the Hudson.
That's good. Who needs a Northwest Passage when you got Troy?
He hit the Cohoes Fall and he turned around. He finished one adventure and he started another one. And Troy's that point where people can come from wherever they've been and they can start a new adventure.
Yeah.
It's a really freaking magical place. I didn't grow up here. I didn't know anyone when I moved here. Troy is a really special place.
Oh, it's already activated.
So this is our interactive video game center.
A lot of the games on the right side are stuff that I made. A lot of the games on the left side is stuff that Jamie made, who's right now behind the Ian over there.
Oh, so these are original creations?
These are original creations made by local developers here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what is that process of building a game? How does that work?
That is a good question. That one I made in 48 hours, and my line of thinking for that one was I spent about 30 minutes to an hour just writing out single sentence descriptions of a game, and then just choose whatever happened to be my favorite one and put it together within whatever leftover time I have, which is usually 30 hours.
You give yourself a time limit? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a tough time limit, but that's kind of one of my gigs on these kind of business. Like, I do a really good job of working at incredibly tight schedules.
Because if you didn't have a deadline, things would just stretch on, and you get lost in details, and nothing would ever, you never accomplish anything. Yeah.
Of course, we all know this. All of us artists and creatives.
Right, but it's good to have to systematize it.
Right.
So what is the heart of a video game? What's the
What is
appeal of
the
it?
heart of the video game?
Why do people play
You
video
are
games?
you are the character. You are an actor in a play created by a sort of a puppeteer who created this environment for you, and you want to role play into this act. You want to role play as this actor in the environment that you've been created. And personally, one thing that I've always found compelling about video games is you have games where it's really they'll present a stressful situation, and you'll feel it because you empathize with the character. When in a video game, when you're in a stressful situation, you empathize it because you are in that situation. So it's a completely different experience from what you would typically expect from movies, from photographs, art.
Because you're in control of the action. Your
Right.
decisions make the thing happen.
It's a
not.
fascinating paradox, right? You're in full control, yet we have ways to make you feel stressed. We have ways to make you feel nervous, to make you
Because you
feel
set up
horrified.
challenges
Right.
that have to be overcome.
Yes, and that is to me what's most fascinating about this job. There's so many tricks, so many interesting things that you can psychologically play with your player, and like I said, they're under no illusion that they have full control over the situation. They can always just leave, right? They can always just get out, but they're compelled to stay. They're there for the experience. They're there to be part of the action that they're in. So it's not a pass. So unlike almost all mediums that we've dealt with, it's not a passive interaction. It's an active one that they're actively part of.
Right.
This is why when you hear gamers talk about games where they'll be like, "Yeah, I did this," they're calling themselves by their self pronoun.
Yeah.
It's a very fascinating thing.
Yeah. So it's all writing code, lines of code, copying, cutting, pasting? Is that what the...
Nowadays, we have tools to make it a lot easier to create games. These games, for example, were created with Unity, with an exception of that paddle game that was created with Construct 2. Right now, we're teaching a bunch of kids on how to use Construct 2 to make games. They sell it as no programming necessary to learn how to use this tool. So nowadays, programming in and of itself is not the only necessary. There are ways to get around that, overcome that problem, because there are tools for it. Should you be devoted enough to learn how to make a game?
Okay, we're playing a game here. And, patted him off. Oh, hey, they're blowing up. There's action, there's drama. Some are getting by, some are bouncing around.
It's not my thing.
You want to sweep them around.
Oh, sweep them around. Got it.
So the point of this game is...
to get the balls onto your opponent's side. I made this.
Okay.
One team is the noble duck team, and the other is the great and mighty salmon team. Duck team is in blue, trying to knock the balls onto the red side, and the salmon team is trying to knock them to the left, onto the blue side.
And you have a spinning cursor, a paddle, of course. So this is a lot like an advanced version of table tennis.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Or a
But it's
garbage day,
challenging.
like a game I used to play in elementary school when there was a PE day.
Dodgeball. Dodgeball, yes. Games with balls or something.
Salmon, who's salmon?
You're salmon. You're
One! Congratulations!
Thank you.
Good job, good job.
Serious fuzzball on your sound there.
Yeah, well, these windsocks, they're absolutely critical.
Wow.
Because the mics are so sensitive. Just walking through the room, you get this.
Did you make this?
I did make it.
You did damn good.
And
Thank
so
you.
That's like a microphone or a
It looks weird,
separate
but
sound
you're doing
system?
good.
Or?
Yeah, well, that's a stereo recorder. This is the video recorder.
So it helps you to be very steady?
Right, your motions are smooth. You gotta
I see,
control
I
it.
see, I see.
But the idea is that your motions are smooth. There you go. Yeah, the idea is steady.
And you hold on to this or you just let that?
You do whatever works. You
I made a homemade crane once when I was a kid, making two great movies. So I have a love of these homemade things.
Yeah.
Good.
There's nothing like working on something yourself to make sure it's right.
Are you filming this for something in particular?
I run a recording studio and then I do music videos for bands, and so I do videos on Troy Night Out to as a pro bono thing to capture the magic and promote Troy and meet people.
Great. Thank you for letting me use your Steadicam.
Sure. Well, thank you for being my assistant.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we are here in Market Street Books with Market Block, exactly.
With Gene Chodkowski, the author of The Anatomy of Horse Race Handicapping, or How to Have Fun at the Track.
And this is a realistic book about...
This is educational in nature, but it's not stuffy. It's very funny.
Okay.
It's done in a conversational style. And I wrote it because I've been going to Saratoga Race Course my whole life since I was a teenager. And every time I'd go, I hear people, visitors, have questions about horse racing, about the whole entire sport. And there was nobody there to answer them, or no one there you could refer them to even. So 3 years ago, I decided to write a book that encompassed the whole sport. And it's called The Anatomy of Horse Race Handicapping, because there's our chapters. There's handicapping with your head, which is how to read a program and figure out how a race will unfold. There's handicapping with your eyes, which is what to look for, like in the paddock before a race, or the actual movements of the horse during a race and after the race. And then there's handicapping the blood, which is your pedigrees. Handicapping your heart is when you fall in love with one of these race horses, like American Pharoah. You're hooked. You will follow their offspring forever. There's handicapping your gut, which is the angles in the sport. There's a lot of angles, like who's the hot trainers? Are they good with the 2-year-old new horses, or are they good with the older horses? There's handicapping your funny bone, which is kind of self-explanatory. And then handicapping your tail is the last chapter, and that's how to bet. And it covers everything. So pretty much the whole sport is in there.
And it sounds like an art and a science and a little bit of voodoo thrown in.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's a lot of fun thrown in is what it is. And the whole premise of the book is it's not a methodology type of book. Here's the way you're supposed to bet. It's whatever way you want to bet, when you make decisions in your own life, whether it's where to go to lunch or what house to buy. It's that type of decision making that goes into choosing a horse.
So there's a subtext to this book that you can be more methodical with your own life.
Well, it's just basically you're going to bet what's natural to you and how you make decisions. So there really isn't a system, here's how you're going to win a lot of money. It's basically how to learn more about the sport and enjoy it more, and still decide how to bet a horse the way you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not just random, or is it close to random?
Well, it's like, say you're a grandmother and you're always going to bet your grandchildren's names if the horse has the name of your grandchildren.
That sounds a little random.
Yeah, that's random, but
But since everything is connected in the larger ecology, then maybe it's not random.
Right, but if you want to know how to bet those grandchildren's names in the race, then, we have ways to bet.
And any competition inherently has drama to
Exactly.
it. There's a starting point,
Actually,
there's
if
a
you read
winner.
the introduction of my book, exactly, that's what I bring out, the drama. Because you have the horses come out onto the track and there's a post parade, and they parade by you. And then they get into the gate and the excitement builds because you have $1 ticket to win on one of those horses, and you own, $1's worth of that horse.
And they're beautiful animals. It's not like
And
they're
they're
racing rhinoceroses or something.
And they love to run. They love to compete. You can see the fire in their eyes when two horses are, neck and neck down the stretch. You can see it. They're battling it out. They want to win. They want to run. They're bred to run. And they know when they've won. They know when they've lost. You'll see them, their heads are down after a race if they lost. And if they're in the winner's circle, they got their heads up. They know they won. They're champions.